Well. This is it. We've finally reached the final episode of ReZero Season 2, and I'm sad. But
Aww.
I am sad. But the last few episodes have been awesome. Really enjoyable. The fights and the thing with Beatrice, Subaru helping her get out. Really cool scenes. You know, Ram, who knows if she's dead or not. I thought she was, but, looked like Roswaal was actually healing her. So I guess we'll see.
Question.
Oh, yeah, and I have Zach and Dylan with me. Zach will be in the top left.
Oh, hey.
Top right.
Hello. How's it going? I have a question.
I don't know if I can answer.
Do you think this is going to be a crying episode?
Crying?
Do you think?
Yeah,
I'm going. Think it's going to be an emotional episode? Do you think that some emotional stuff's going to be going on, or do you think it's going to be more like a answering a lot of questions that we had, and or like intent? I don't know. What do you think this episode's going to be like?
All we know is that the rabbits, they got to take out the rabbits. That's going to be probably the big thing in this episode.
Oh,
and other than that, at the mansion, I think Frederica's still there with that little girl, Maylee.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if they're going to go back to that at all. But to answer your question, I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit of both. I feel like it's going to end up on a happy ending. But
I hope so.
That's what I have been saying. It's still going to probably be emotional.
Even if it is a happy ending, I'm probably going to cry a little.
Yeah. So I'll just be sad. Maybe a bittersweet ending. We'll see.
I hope Rem wakes up like fully. That's what I'm hoping.
Fully?
I want to hear Rem speak. That's all I want.
We'll see.
I'm not sure if there's going to be any way to wake her up this episode. I don't know. I think the only way they said was to defeat the Archbishop of Sin. Whatever that guy was. I forget. Regulus.
I forgot those characters even exist.
Or not Regulus, but I think the Gluttony guy we've seen like once. It's episode 2.
Pandora makes a guest appearance, maybe?
Yeah, and Pandora. I said that when she popped up one of the few episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if she pops up, maybe, but I don't really know if she would have a reason to heal her in the first place.
You never know.
But I doubt we'll be seeing Rem back with us.
Yeah,
at least until like the final parts, maybe final moments,
like the after credit scene.
Before the credits roll, I want to see Rem's pretty face and hear her speak.
We'll probably see Rem at least.
Check it out.
Yeah, we got Subaru, Emilia, Beatrice against these evil freaking rabbits I'm terrified of. Will they be able to defeat them? Probably. Is that Roswaal?
That's a lot of rabbits.
Oh yeah, and we know the only way to really take care of these guys completely is to kill them all in one go. I'm pretty sure that's what we've been told.
Yeah, because they multiply fast, right?
Yeah, so I got to take them out in one big shot.
All right,
I don't know where they're gonna get the magic or whatever for that, but we'll see.
I have a theory, but I won't say it until it happens.
All right, final episode, 30 minutes. Let's see what we got already. Bro, it's a serious moment here, guys. Come on. Yes, sir. Phillips. All right, here we go.
I wonder what Subaru's gonna be able to do in this.
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know.
Smoke
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, he's got the smoke stuff, I guess.
It's more Beatrice magic.
Damn, that's pretty cool. Oh shit. Alright, well that works, I guess.
That's easy.
Oh, is she gonna bring his magic out?
Maybe like a catalyst. She's like a catalyst or
Oh,
combining
damn.
mana or something.
I guess.
Oh, bye.
Okay. Back to the library it is.
It's always a decoy.
Well, he's gotta be good at something.
Oh, he's got an aura going around him. See that?
Oh yeah. Maybe the smoke will come in
Like-
handy.
Oh, he's attracting him with the switch send, probably.
Oh, smart.
Barricade him in. Okay.
When did it become square? What?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
It's magic, I guess. Oh, nice.
Alright, what could go wrong?
Whoa.
They can't jump.
Will they die?
Pretty low. Oh, Shamrock. It's the smoke screen thingy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Ugh.
Cool.
It's gonna like power up or something.
Just teleport him out?
I guess so.
Beatrice is a little OP, but
Hmm. Alright, well, that was quick.
that was. It's
To
gone
go
nuts.
5 minutes into the episode.
Back to sad time.
Maybe. I don't know if we've ever seen Roswaal even cry.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, so now what? I wonder.
We'll see. Oh.
Okay.
いくつになっても君は変わらないね。あの頃のままだ。本当に私と君は言葉を交わし足りないね。先生のおそばにあれた時からずっと。私はずっとロズワールだよ。
Oh, I guess. What?
冗談だよ。私は僕はロズワールだ。ベアトリス。
What? Oh.
Huh?
I'm just thinking.
I know
Well,
I'm a little high, but I'm real
Well,
confused here.
because Beatrice is,
Could-
400 years old, and the Roswaal
Mhm.
she knew back then would probably be gone by now, of course.
I mean-
So in her
Oh.
days living at the mansion, she's seen Roswaal after Roswaal, like different like coming through. They're like different generations, I guess. So maybe the original Roswaal, she knew his soul got put into this body. I don't know. Just kind of thinking all in, but
They look exactly the same though.
soul transcription from others. Oh.
Oh,
I mean, Roswaal is her family, pretty much.
yeah.
Didn't know she was alive. At least the original one
Yeah. Yeah, she
from
did some
400 years
surprise.
ago. Confusing. She lost pretty much everyone. Kiona, Ryuzu.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I mean, not at least she has someone now, right?
Yeah,
For now.
welcome back. That's sweet.
They look so young.
They sculpt little
What?
snow. What are the
Damn. Some good models.
Snow pucks.
snow pucks?
This actually, yeah.
Pucks out of service
Now.
for now.
Again.
I was about to say. Oh boy.
Oh,
Aw, she won't say she loves him. She's acting pretty sus.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh. What?
You watching a fan edit?
What is happening? Is this a fan fiction? I'm
this must
sorry.
be an OVA.
I'm so confused.
Yo, Subaru, get in there.
Can't. Oh my god. That caught me so off guard. I'm sorry, I'll continue.
Subaru's a simp.
They
Subaru
didn't
be
do
fucking her
it
to
though.
sleep.
So confused.
She. Not sure. Not sure about this.
Can we get to how it got there?
I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
What?
She probably thinks that she's pregnant from the kiss.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you're right,
I
Zach.
knew it. I
You're
knew it.
right.
I knew it. Oh, we were freaked out for nothing.
Okay. Thank
Ah,
God.
that was.
That was.
Why did we?
What?
Why was that such a reaction from Isabel?
Because
That was crazy.
She's what?
I know, but
What
we
you said
did
you
like.
were like 18-year-old mind, 14-year-old body,
She's like mentally, she's about like 14.
mentally 14. I keep
And
getting it back.
physically, yeah, 18. Oh, I just gotta.
It's like, well, I mean, at least the way I thought about it, like they kissed one time,
Yeah.
and they just barely said they're not just gonna go straight to. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know
Maybe that's in the
how
book.
fast their relationship grows, but it seems like there's a lot of other shit they have to deal with first. It's the
Yeah,
last
they
thing they're
still
gonna be thinking about.
I still wanted to talk about the whole thing, unless that's what
Yeah,
that's what it was. But yeah,
that's why I thought. And then, like, as soon as she started talking about it, there's no way she doesn't understand anything about
she
it.
doesn't know anything.
No, I not know anything, but like
Dumb
clearly
bitch.
she doesn't understand that whole topic. But good scene.
Yeah, that's top 3. Of course, Garfield,
Oh yeah. Oh.
fucking Roswaal.
Oh. Damn.
Oh, they're all just giving
They're
him what he
torturing him or
deserves.
something.
So Roswell's good
Reusing.
now.
Maybe. I
Maybe
guess.
like he's. Oh, Ram's okay.
Oh.
Yo, Ram looking fly.
All right, so Ram's good.
Yeah, she's just
I was
alive
right. No one's
again.
dying.
Well,
Still
we
holding
still
on
got
to that.
time.
No one
We
died.
still got time.
This is a slice of life episode from now on.
All right.
Who the hell's taking
Better-
care of Ram?
No, someone. Patrash.
Frederica. Oh, Frederica's right there. Fuck, my bad. I'm not for you. Yeah. Yeah, Subaru wants Roswaal on his side.
Yeah.
There she is.
Oh, there's Ram.
Taking a fucking nap.
Snatch that you want to get you. Him.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Sort of
Okay.
stigma. That
Tony
is
Stark.
both sealed with a curse. Oh, it's contracts. Covenant.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
That would have been terrible. I'd like to see that route though.
Oh,
What if
It's like
he
the
lost?
worst route in the
I
whole
mean,
series. Just be doomed forever.
yes, there's. Oh, the most important thing.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. All right. Guess we got Roswaal on board with the crew now.
Yeah. Oh,
Credits. Oh,
It probably take a long time for them to really like him, but or tolerate him.
what is
Oh, what
what
is
is this?
Get back to Cap.
He's gonna be a
Is he
wait.
gonna be a knight?
I guess
isn't he?
he's gonna be
Amelia's knight?
Amelia's knight.
He's gonna be
yeah.
Emilia finally.
Oh,
Officially.
what? Who's this?
私の目的は先生と再会することだ。お前の目的はあの棺の女の人だろ。もう果たせたんじゃ。勘違いしないでほしい。血が通い、魂が宿り、息を吹き返した先生との再会。それが私の望みであり悲願だ。そんな手段があるのかよ。英知の書が失われ、呪印に縛られてもいる。だが、先生を諦めるつもりは毛頭ない。諦めないで何ができる？簡単な話だよ。私は君を見張り続けることにする。君は失うことを拒絶し、すべてを拾い切ると決めた。君はこの先も傷つき続けることになるだろう。失うことを繰り返し、その失ったものを取り返すために見えない傷を増やし続ける。誰かが失われれば、私はためらいなく全てを灰にする。妥協は許さない。私を先生のもとに導いてくれるのはスバル君、君と君の歩みだけだ。
It's nice to see Subaru in some different attire as well.
Yeah,
It's
that's
his
true.
usual. I think he looks pretty
He's
good.
got that drip now.
What if that's what he's gonna be wearing from now on?
I
Maybe not.
don't
but
know. I feel like he's still gonna be rocking that.
The
Jacket.
chassis.
Oh yeah.
Emilia looking fresh.
Mhm. Got a sword now.
So happy
Dope.
for Subaru, dude. Oh, it's a long time coming. Oh, yeah. Stolen, but idiot.
Yep.
Classic exchange. Told you guys it'd be a slice of life episode.
I mean, there's still time.
I'm waiting for someone to
Happy
like assassinate
ending.
Emilia.
Yeah, it's funny that Emilia drinks, but not Subaru.
That is true.
There's an OVA where she actually gets drunk with Ram.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
私ね、この後、私のキス様に聞いてほしい話があるの。奇遇だね。俺もエミリアさんに聞きたい話がいっぱいあるんだ。じゃ、約束。
Uh-oh.
Don't break it this time.
That, oh, no.
foreshadowing.
I must... Fuck.
Oh, is that a death flag? Hold on.
私の部屋に来てくれる？約束破りに
That's foreshadowing for something, probably.
エミリアさんの部屋に呼ばれて
Someone's gonna die.
破るという選択肢が他にはない。ちょっと何言ってるのかわかんない。
No one's dying, guys.
どんな話が聞けるのか今から楽しみだね。
Nope.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, if you keep saying that, then I don't know if I can defend myself here.
Wait, oh wait.
Got a real good feeling that conversation's not gonna happen.
Oh, cute.
大丈夫だよ、エミリアさん。何があっても俺は君に幻滅したりしない。大事なのは最初でも途中でもなく最後なんだから。それにきっかけがどうでも今もそのまんまなわけじゃないでしょ。なんでわかるの？
My kind of people.
さっきも大広間を優しい目で見てたじゃん。それ見てたらわかるよ。エミリアさんが頑張る理由にあれをもっと大きくしたいってのが加わるなら胃の一番に手伝わせてよ。本当にスバルに頼っていいの？さっき俺が何を誓ったと思ったの？
Right? Come on.
誰より最初に俺を頼ってくれって。手伝えることなら何でも手伝うし、わからないことなら一緒に考えるから。迷いは晴れた。
Sweet.
なんだかすごく優しい顔してる。
Some, the whole,
エミリアさんと同じものを見ていいなって思えるのが嬉しいのかも。あ、それわかる。私もスバルが同じに思ってくれてたら嬉しいな。どうかな。そこは違うかもしんない。違ってていいってそうも言えんし。
what if everyone dies?
No, you guys are so dramatic.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything like
Everything's gonna
that.
be fine.
What if the whole building
What
just
could go
explodes
wrong?
right now?
Like, come
We
on.
got 2 minutes. We got 2.5 minutes.
とこれが私の理想の光景だわ。私忘れないから。
See, the power's still not answer, right? I told you. A nice, sweet ending. Happy.
What ending was that?
Damn, not even a cliffhanger. Who knows what's coming next?
That was pretty good. I kind of wish there was something. Oh, wait, no.
Nah,
Yeah, no. I mean, it was good, but
That'd be
yeah,
a
I
good
kind of
poster.
wish they had shown something like that was gonna be in the next season. But I mean, we do have like what 5 more years for speculation, I guess, till we
Yeah,
get the
well,
third season. So
it might have ended right before something happened, and maybe they just didn't want
Everyone
Spoil
there to be
anything.
a huge cliffhanger and have to wait like years if it does take that long for season 3.
I feel like it's not gonna be that
But yeah,
long. Now that it's back up again, it's probably gonna be like maybe a year or something. I do want them to take their time as much as they can with the show, so I'm fine with waiting however long. But We'll just have to wait and see.
I was really scared that whole place was gonna go up.
It's
They
I
were
knew
they
it
were
was gonna be
both
happening.
staring at it, and they were talking about how great the moment was, and I was just waiting for like blood to cover the windows. That's all I was waiting for.
We didn't get to see their talk. I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, I know. I thought
I want to know
something.
what she wants to ask.
Thought she was gonna say like some bad secret or something.
I could care
That's the
less
only
what
bad
Subaru
thing I
has
thought
to
was
say.
gonna happen.
Guess I'll find out in the
It's-
novels.
Probably gonna be just, oh, you're so pretty, kiss.
And they didn't even kiss. It's the last episode of the second season. Come on, Subaru.
Well, she
Where's
doesn't
the
want to get
character
pregnant, all
development?
right?
I guess that's true.
The
It's a
first
good
kiss was
point.
pretty risky.
That was true. That was true. Didn't even wear condoms.
Puck is ultimate cock block.
Oh, yeah. Well, Puck is the father, so that's
Oh god.
like his job.
My first thought was like, oh, could Roswaal be the dad? That be a thing?
It does not appear that way at this point.
Oh my goodness.
But does Beatrice see Roswaal as her father? No. Maybe.
I mean, maybe.
She sees Ekidona as her mother.
Yeah.
And Roswaal talked about his kid before, right? Or
I
feel like
so.
he said
I don't know.
no. I don't know.
Maybe I missed that.
It's already like 2 episodes ago.
But yeah, that's how they end it. Sweet dance
Yeah.
with Emilia.
I'm surprised. I said the wrong
Surprise?
thing. I wish we got like a special intro,
Yeah. I mean,
or like I wish the outro was like the next season intro or something along that line.
Oh,
there's no more
special
intros
outro.
anymore. Oh, outro?
I'm surprised they showed an outro.
I mean,
I guess it makes
outro
sense,
makes
actually.
sense, I guess.
Yeah, for the finale.
Especially in the last episode. Yeah. It's a good
Never
song,
mind.
too.
Why do I think the blue-haired girl is going to be an important character? Oh, get out of here. Dummy.
Maybe I'm pretty sure that someone said she was like a big fan of Emilia or something.
But there it is. That is the season. The season was exceptional. I really loved it. I think it focused. What?
I just agreed.
I thought you said. I thought you cut out or something. My bad. I think it really focused on character development for the most part, like the trials and stuff. We saw Emilia grow a lot. She had a lot of self-doubt. Didn't believe herself. Not confident.
Question is, do you like this season more than the previous season?
First season always has like special place.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's
probably
tough.
will agree. There was a lot of action in that season too. A lot of good fight scenes.
But we had a
whale.
lot. Yeah. We had a lot of. We just learn a lot in this season, really.
Mm-hmm.
We see all the witches, which is big.
Oh yeah. So Satella makes an appearance.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
And then we see. I really loved Siri's trial. We get to see his past, his parents. It's still one of my favorite episodes. I just feel like we had a lot more special moments in this season.
Is there anything you're hoping to see in the next season?
Next season. Well, what are they obviously got to help Rem.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I guess the plot is just making Emilia the queen. Maybe taking on the other archbishops.
They got that the one that took Rem's memory, right? The one with the teeth.
No, they haven't even encountered that one yet.
Oh, who encountered that?
They encountered Regulus, which he's the greed.
Oh,
and Rem, of course, encountered the teeth boy.
Yeah. And so
that's why. Yeah.
Maybe that person will be there, because I have a feeling the only way to get Rem's memories back is to defeat that one, right?
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe.
what the original plan was,
Hmm
to hunt him down.
I also want to see the snake. I'm real excited to see when that isn't that
The
the
snake.
third great mob beast or something?
Oh, the serpent thing?
The serpent, yeah.
Is that
I
what?
really want
Yeah.
to see what that's gonna look like.
We saw a little bit of it, but yeah, we haven't really seen much. So there was
Yeah.
like three great mob beasts, I think.
They defeated. There's the whale and the rabbits, and then yeah, it's just the serpent now. Yeah. And I feel like Daphne might go crazy or something. What the witch of
Mhm.
was it Gluttony? I don't remember which one it was.
It's
The one with the chained
hard
up
to
one?
remember. I think. Oh, which one was that?
I think it was. That
It's a
was the Glut. That wasn't Sloth. Was it Sloth? No,
it's not. No, it's
no,
not
it
Pride.
was Gluttony because she wanted to eat Subaru.
That's right. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Weird. But yeah, there's quite a few things that I'm hoping to see next season. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that's it, I guess. Yeah.
I guess
So,
I kind of want to see Emilia or Subaru kind of actually talk to Satella more. I thought they would
like
in this
both of
season.
them.
Or either one of them. Still, like, are they the same person? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, they haven't. Have they been? They haven't been in the same scene.
No. So I
It's
just,
like,
I hope we just learn more about that. Kind of confirm
yeah,
things.
there's got to be some connection.
I like to see Subaru get a little stronger, not overpowered or anything, but maybe work at the sword
That's
skills.
true. Yeah,
Now that he
he's
has
got that
one.
sword now. And powers, maybe more with his magic.
Yep.
That'd be cool. And,
And other than that, I
that
just want
one.
to see everyone's relationship. Oh, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was gonna bring up Elsa's little sister too. I don't know if
Oh,
she's gonna be super important, but
maybe.
she might be.
Yeah, we didn't even really get any closure on that. What happened to her?
Yeah, Elsa
Now that I
just
think
got
about it.
crushed, and then that was about it, right?
Yeah, Elsa got crushed because Melee was in danger, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm still
Elsa actually
thinking
cared about
she's.
her, I think.
I think she might still be alive too. She's gonna come back. We're gonna see her again. Rip some people apart.
It's crazy how far or how relevant Elsa has been. It's
I know.
pretty much episode 1.
And we didn't see her for so long. She just popped up
Yeah.
randomly out of nowhere, and then she's in that like 4 episodes after that. But yeah, good character. Dylan, any thoughts?
Not really.
Alright.
No.
Okay.
I want to see Rim. That's it.
That's understandable. I understand.
Fair enough.
It's been rough.
And I guess that is it, guys. Future plans for the channel, I'm not too sure yet. I might do a playthrough of the ReZero game that I have here. There's one other anime I was interested in maybe reacting to.
Yeah, what was that one called again?
I can't remember the
New
name.
tab.
Looked good. Well, whatever it was.
It was like some robot type of thing. It was actually the
Oh, is
director from
is the one I
ReZero.
started.
No, not that one. It's a
The girl
Some
with the blue hair was
hidden
in it.
yeah. One of the directors is the same. It's the same guys as the author of ReZero, so that's kind of why I was interested in it.
But yeah, I'm sure the story's great. I'd be down to watch that.
And yeah, other than that, maybe I can do more light novel stuff, read on a little bit more, maybe finish up. I might read like past this and see if anything crazy happens.
You're playing a risky
it's
game.
It's up in the air though. Thank you all very much for watching my reactions. I really do appreciate it. There will be a light novel comparison after this little part. So if you're interested in that, you can stay. If not, that's fine. I guess that is it. And thank you, Zach and Dylan, for coming in the middle of the season, joining up with me, and it was fun to have you guys.
Absolutely. So fun. It's been a fun ride.
Absolutely. But that is all I have to say. One final time, thank you for watching. Have a good day or night, wherever you are. And we are out of here. Goodbye. Hey, what's up, guys? Before we get to the light novel part of this video, I just wanted to add this little section of just me talking about stuff. I wanted to add more about the season, my thoughts on the season, and some other things. This is the day after, I'm recording this the day after we watched the final episode. I've been thinking about it quite a lot, man. I was thinking about it all night after we watched it, and I just got home from work a little while ago, and I was thinking about it all day at work. I just want to say I'm really fucking sad to see this show go. I know I'm like months late. I know season 2 was over like, three or so months ago, maybe? Quite a bit. But still, knowing that I won't be able to look forward to watch, my favorite shows, it sucks. And I know the other guys wouldn't really feel this way, so I kind of just want to do it on my own part. But yeah, it really sucks, man. I'm sure you guys have had the feeling. If you've been watching anime for a while, you finish a really damn good show. You're really into it, really immersed into it. You love the characters, the story. And you reach that final episode, and it's just done. And you just fucking feel empty inside, man. That's kind of the way I'm feeling right now. And it just really drives home, like, how much I love this show, how much it means to me, how much I've grown connected to the story and the characters, the lore. I don't think I've really ever feel this way about a show, about any sort of literature. It's amazing and it sucks at the same time, because it's got to end at some point, I suppose. And that kind of connects as to why I did these reactions in the first place. Before season 2 was out, I decided I was gonna read through all the books. I had the first couple volumes, but I'd never really delved into the light novels, or really any kind of books as well. And the fact that a show is able to really get me to actually read the novels is a feat in itself, another feat in itself. But yeah, before season 2 was out, maybe even before it was announced, to be honest, I decided I was gonna collect all the light novels, and I was gonna read through them. And then after reading through them, I was gonna rewatch the show, because at this point it's been at least 3 years or so since I've finished season 1. Because this might be me, but I'm the type of person who never rewatches things. I'll never replay a game. It's like once I've seen it, I don't feel like I can get anything else out of it. If I were to rewatch it or replay it, I know what's happening, that sort of stuff. And me going out of my way to actually rewatch the show and start reading the light novels kind of brought home how much I was into the series. Because again, no other show, I haven't rewatched any other show before. ReZero is the only show I've rewatched, 3 times in fact. But yeah, moving on, I'm reading through all the light novels, and then I get up to light novel 10, I believe. The season 1 finale. I think the last episode of season 1, I think ended when it was about, like, I don't know, wild guess, 75%. I went through like 75% of volume 10, I believe it was. So yeah, I'm reading the book, and I get to the part where, Subaru and Emilia is sitting on the hill, having their beautiful moments. And I'm already super emotional, of course. It's such a fucking good scene, I get past that part, and of course, past that, it was all new content for me. And then they get on the caravan, whatever you want to call it. And, I'm already really emotional because the last part that happened beforehand. But you get to the part where, they're talking, or Subaru and Emilia talking, and then she's, asks, who's Rem? And the way they did it in this book, you did not see this coming. At least I did not see this coming at all. It was a complete shock. I was blown away. I think I was hyperventilating. It was insane. I didn't know what to do. I was pacing around my room. My mind was everywhere. It was it felt like the biggest plot twist I've ever seen in my life. Like that scene impacted me a lot. And I remember afterwards, I Snapchat my friend Tabor. He was actually in a few of my videos. He wasn't in the last few, but he was in the good early half, I'd say. I messaged him and I'm like, season 2 is gonna be wild. Season 2 is gonna be insane. Season 2 was actually announced by the time I got to that part. And to get the reason why I did these videos, because before I got Zach and Dylan into the series, the guys that have been reacting with me, I really didn't have anyone to talk to about the show, except for of course I could mention the Tabor, but he's not a light novel reader or anything. He's not super into it like me. But yeah, then after that I go into volume 11. And then I think I get up to like chapter 2 and I'm like, screw it. Excuse me. I need to like I need to talk to someone about this. So I decided to record myself reading the book. You can check. That's probably a year ago by now, but those videos are still up on my channel. I'm pretty sure it's chapter 2. Yeah, I'm like, I need to at least pretend like I'm talking to someone, about what is going on. I need to vent, or else I'm gonna go crazy. And I'm not sure how long I continued to do the book stuff. I can't remember if I finished volume 11, or sorry, it might have been 10. I think it was volume 10 actually. My bad. I'm not sure if I finished volume 10 or not, but I did that for a while. Then of course the season 2 anime was coming out. I said, screw it, I'm gonna react to this as well. I'm gonna do it because I really wanted to share my experiences with other people, and I just wanted to talk to other people about what was happening in the show, or just pretending to talk to other people. It's kind of maybe sound a little sad, but it's just how it is. So that's kind of why I got into these reactions. I was just super into the series, and I just needed some place to output my thoughts. So I just, other than keeping it all inside, or else I would have been crazy. And now I'm gonna go into the part of me thanking every one of you guys, genuinely, sincerely. I'm someone who doesn't have a lot of confidence. I'm not really good at talking. If you notice through this, there's gonna be a lot of cuts. It's hard for me to really put my thoughts into words, I guess. So that's why a lot of parts are just cut, because I really need to stop and just think about how I want to say things. So I guess I'm just not super well spoken, maybe, if that's the right term. So I know my reactions weren't maybe the best. I did try. All my reactions were completely genuine, of course. Again, why wouldn't they be? But sometimes I might have trouble putting together what I want to say, or trying to explain something. It's just basically just saying thanks for putting up with me, and thank you for all the support. Again, sincerely, thank you. Because anytime I saw a notification for like a new comment, I was hyped. I was really interested to see what other people were thinking about the episode, or maybe they had some extra information about maybe something I didn't get, or maybe they were just complimenting the video, anything. And there's a few people who consistently comment on my videos, and you know who you are. I just want to let you guys know I really appreciate it. I know no one's probably gonna watch this part, but I never really ask. Actually, yeah, I never ask for likes or subscribers or anything. But comments are amazing. Seriously, just brightens my day. So if any of you do see this part of the video, just really want you to know I appreciate it. If any of you have ever commented, thank you. Thank you, seriously. I think that's all I want to talk about for just my videos and why I started and whatnot. Now I just want to talk a bit more about season 2. I want to give more of my thoughts on that. I might repeat a little bit of what I said at the end of the video with the other guys. I might repeat the same things, not too much, of course, but probably like 1 or 2 things. But of course, season 2 was amazing, so good. There's so many moments I can think of that are just amazing. I'm speechless just thinking about it. There's so many powerful moments in this season, especially with Emilia and Subaru. I believe, as I said, with the last part with the guys, Zach and Dylan, I feel like the season really focused on character development, and we got some good world building as well. Emilia was really someone I believe was filled with a lot of self-doubt. Anytime, let's say if Subaru was trying to help her or someone else, her thoughts would probably be like, oh, he doesn't think I'm enough. I can't do this. I'm not reliable. She just had a lot of self-doubt. But, then Subaru finally helped her out so much. She was finally able to get past that barrier and improve so much as a character. We see her have so much confidence at the end. The last, I don't know, 5 episodes, 7 episodes or so. We see how much she's improved. And of course, Subaru went through a lot of development as well. We learned that in this season, we learned that in his past life, he kind of lived in the shadow of his father, Kenichi. I don't think he ever felt like, this is the way I interpreted it, as he really didn't, I feel like he was himself, I guess. Or maybe he felt like he was trying to be someone he wasn't. He wasn't Subaru. He wasn't Subaru Natsuki. He had very high expectations of him because of his father. Of course, we see him get past that, mainly due to his mother, Nahoko. And I'll always remember this, but she said, remember this one thing, she said, why don't you just try being half of like your dad and the other half you, or something like that, I believe. That whole episode was Subaru's parent and child, I believe it's called. It's probably my favorite episode of the season. But yeah, lots of character development for Subaru and Emilia. And even side characters like Otto. We have to learn a lot more about Otto. I never really expected to see Otto become such an important character in the series, and I'm glad he is. I know he's seen as kind of the comic relief. I really like his character, Best Boy Otto. Of course, see Garfield go through good development. Even Ram, Roswaal, everyone. The season really fleshed out all the characters, I feel like. And we get to see the relationships grow so much, especially Subaru and Emilia's. This whole season was just fan service for me. I feel they made this season for me because it really focused on Emilia. Emilia's my favorite character. I love Subaru and hers dynamic in the relationship, and we just get to see a lot of them this season. And of course, we get to see all the witches. Pandora? Where the hell saw that coming? Are you kidding me? Pandora? Where'd this witch come from? Let's see all the witches, which is really cool. Ekidona was a great character. I really loved her as well. You can see her as a villain or not. I'm not sure. I feel like she's a decent person, but she's a witch, as she says. She's a witch, What do you expect? No, I mean she has done a lot of good stuff, as we learned in the backstories with like the sanctuary and stuff. I think she was just really brought out to be worse than she actually was, maybe. Oh, Beatrice. Beatrice gets fleshed out a lot this season, of course. We got to see a decent amount of her in season 1, but this season we learned so much more about her past, her struggles, why she's there, and her story is just tragic, man. I really love the Beatrice segments in this season. I just want to talk a little bit more about the final episode. First of all, the rabbits, I thought that was going to be a lot more of a big deal. To be honest, that ended very quickly. So, draw a box. Oh, vanish. Done. I thought maybe it'd be more high stakes, but there's probably more in the novel. So, I'll be checking that out with my comparisons. And just seeing Subaru finally be granted a knight status We know that Roswaal gave him night early on in the season 2, but Subaru didn't accept that at all because he was pretty much awarded that after all that shit at the mansion happening, just all the bad stuff. He didn't really want to accept it, as I said in the book. In this episode, we finally formally get to see him be appointed to Emilia's knight, and that scene was fantastic. I'm so happy for Subaru. I didn't really get it across during the reaction, but I'm very happy about that ending. And just seeing them dance and stuff, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The only thing I did not like about the season, I'd say, if I had to pick something, was, I guess, the point of interest, the sanctuary, just kind of staying in that one area for the entire season. We didn't get that much of a change of scenery. It was kind of maybe a little muddy. It was dark. Of course, we do get a change of scenery during the trials, which was awesome, of course. But if I had, I'm just nitpicking, if I had to say something bad about the season, it's just being in the sanctuary the entire time. I really, except the final episode, all the different colors, all the different outfits, that was a breath of fresh air. Very lively, it was beautiful. That change of scenery was really cool. And man, I really wanted to see what they're going to talk about. And if there's just a few more pages or something in that book that happens after that episode ends, I'm going to be reading them, and I'm going to be putting them up on the channel for sure. Because I'm not sure if the anime ends at the end of the volume. Volume, I think, was it 15? Volume 15, maybe? Yes, volume 15. I'm not sure if volume 15 continues on a little bit more, but I'm going to be checking that out, of course. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's all my thoughts. Zach asked me if I like season 1 or season 2 better. That's a very hard question. Season 1 is what got me hooked, of course, but season 2 takes the parts that got me hooked and just makes them so much better. It just expands on them, so it's hard to say, but it's easy to say that the season did not disappoint at all. And that's it. I'm getting a little teary-eyed. I'm definitely gonna miss doing these videos. I was interested in maybe doing a reaction to an anime called, I think it was Vivi's Eye Fluorite or something like that. So I might do that, a reaction to that. There's a ReZero game that came out, so I might play that. I might do a playthrough of that. I might record a few episodes, and if I liked how they turned out, I'll put them up. But definitely gonna play that. And I might possibly just keep reading the books and putting those up as well. But yeah, again, I'm really sad to see this show, and one final thank you for all you who's kept watching me thus far, and a thank you for the author, Tapai Nagasuki, I think. Terrible with names, but thank you, sir, for creating an amazing story thus far. And yeah, guys, just thanks for going on this adventure with me. Now we will head into the light novel comparison part of this video. I'll definitely be happier. The light novel comparison will be recorded a few days after this, so I'll definitely have my feelings sorted out, hopefully by then. But yeah, on to the light novel comparison part of this video, the final one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final light novel comparison for Season 2. If you are new here, this is the part of my video where I will be going through the light novel. In this case, we are on volume 15. I assume with this episode, we'll be finishing off this volume. So we'll be going through this, or I will rather, and I'll be watching the episode at the same time, and I will see if there's any interesting differences, anything that was left out, any scenes, interesting dialogue, things such as that. Now, with this episode, the final episode, we actually start chapter 8, which is called Faces Fashioned from Snow. And the last episode is called Offbeat Steps Under the Moonlight. So yeah, that's what I will be doing. I am pretty curious to see if the book goes past where the anime ends, just even a little bit, because that'd be pretty cool. I'll definitely be reading that if that's the case. Yeah, guys, this is the end. Let us see if we can find anything cool, shall we? I will cut. I'm gonna start watching now, and I will cut to the part where I find something interesting, if I find anything, because sometimes it takes me like 20 minutes just to find something, like the last episode we did, just because they adapted it well. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Already, I'm about 10 minutes in, or 9.5 minutes, and I've not really found anything yet. I just went through this entire thing with Beatrice and Roswaal. Beautiful scene, by the way. Fantastic. Rewatching again, honestly, made a bigger impact for me. So I was really just able to be, focused on everything and really think about what they're feeling, and of course reading the book helps as well, of course. But before this scene happened, right after the fight with Rabbit, there seemed to be a scene that didn't make it in here with Emilia, Subaru, and I think I saw Ram's name in there. I didn't read it fully. I just kind of skimmed through it to make sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have to backtrack a few pages because the scene I'm about to talk about happened before this Beatrice and Roswaal thing. So yeah, this scene happens right on the closing chapter, right after chapter 8. Again, this is right after the fight with the rabbit and right before Beatrice and Roswaal. And there's only really about 2 pages, it looks like. So this won't be too long. So, closing chapter, meeting each other halfway. Isn't that the name of this episode? Alright, let's start. Okay, it's finished. Picking up a pair of twigs, Subaru thrust them into the mass of snow before his eyes and wiped off the sweat on his brow. It was constructed in a short time with amateur workmanship, but he was quite proud that it had come out fairly well. Even the onlookers admired his handiwork and went, ooh, in praise. This really does make me feel like I'm a genius at this stuff. If we're ever short on food money, I can have Emilia Tom make the snowfall, and I'll be a living national treasure as a snow artist. Goodness, don't say such ridiculous things, but you really did a good job, huh? Sitting on the stone steps, Emilia let out a white breath as she watched Subaru's handiwork. Displayed in her violet eyes were Subaru and the horde of snow pucks he had finished. He'd gathered up the snow left in the clearing and had made a dozen snow sculptures. And this is what we see here, actually. Bunch of little puck statues, sculptures. Again, what I'm reading is not like this scene in the anime. It's completely different. This happens before this. Even to Subaru himself, it was a mystery where he'd mustered the passion to craft pucks every emotion and for every occasion. It was probably something like thanks, given how Subaru had heard of Puck's bravery and his abstinence. I'm sure this was not his aim, but I think Borsu is indeed an idiot. Classic Ram, In contrast, Ram, her head propped up on Emilia's lap, gave Subaru's actions a quite harsh assessment. With her burned maid outfit stripped away, Ram's white garment gave her a very different impression. That was probably because it somehow felt like he had finally left behind something that had been haunting her. Of course, her poisoned tongue cut as sharply as ever. Hey, I'm the guy who worked hardest during this whole mess. Aren't you praising me too little? I guess that's true. I'm really grateful towards Subaru, but while you were gone, I was the one working hard, so I think it's only natural I would want some praise for it. Freaking Emilia. Emilia's hands suddenly gotten a lot more direct, huh? Perhaps this was the influence of her having overcome the trials. There was a type of confidence blooming over Emilia's demeanor and expression. That's what I've been saying for most of this season, at least the latter half. Emilia has gained a lot more confidence, for sure. You can really see it. There was a type of confidence blooming from Emilia's demeanor and expression. It was a good trend for Emilia, long prone to putting herself down and understating her own worth. Subaru had been unable to deal with all the problems of the sanctuary with his own power, no matter what he tried. Now that he had others to help cover his weaknesses and deficiencies, enabling this miracle that allowed them to all be together, he wanted to thank her. If nothing else, though, I meant to take on the toughest job and stuff. I won't allow something so thoughtless. If Subaru runs around and does everything, we won't even have a reason to be here. If anything, Subaru has been running around a little too much. But I'm way short on firepower. So running around is about the only tactic I have. Well, hey, as Ram has said, Subaru's pretty good at his timing on things. So, but that will not be the case going forward, will it? Nah, Subaru has everyone, bro. Everyone on his side now. Even Roswaal. Emilia was stroking Ram's head atop her lap as she spoke, smiling at how they were both understanding the other's worth. Deducing exactly what her words were getting at, Sivir rubbed under his nose with a finger as he replied, "Ah." He overlooked a lot of things and had ended up being saved by many people around him. But he also gained pretty much everything he needed. He probably would never be worrying about things alone ever again, except his return by death. Obviously, he had Ekidona to vent to her about that, but she's not here anymore, so. Lifting his face, Subaru turned his gaze from the snow sculptures in the clearing in front of the tomb. Now that the trial system had vanished, a pair of individuals had stepped inside. Roswaal and Beatrice. Again, this is before they went to see Ekidona. He had some idea what they might be talking about. Well, even I can read the mood enough not to intrude on that. They had untold opportunities to speak to each other, yet they'd never taken advantage of them. All the words left unspoken must have piled high enough to become a mountain. And then moving down the page, this is when this scene here starts with Ekidona. So yeah, nice little scene there. It wasn't super important or anything, but I always like to include the missing scenes, no matter their importance. But now I will be moving to, well, this scene right here. Again, just with Emilia and Subaru. The freaking funniest scene in this whole show, pretty much. And I will see if I can find anything. So, see you guys then. Alright guys, I'm like 10 seconds in. The only thing I see that has changed so far, Emilia should be stroking a snow puck sculpture right here, okay? Why would they not add that in? That is detrimental to this scene, okay? There should be a snow puck right here, and she should be petting it. It's not okay. Sarcasm, obviously. Oh, and also, Ram. Ram should be in the scene somewhere, or at least in the book she is. I think it says, yeah, she should be sitting upon the steps and just waiting for Roswaal and Beatrice. Because in the last scene I just covered, we know she was laying in Emilia's lap. So again, nothing huge, but I thought I'd point that out. Okay, I'm at this scene now. I just wanted to add this little thing here. So it says Subaru got a bad feeling as Emilia, blushing hard, trailed off. If you had to put it into words, he was afraid she was about to say, "Let's be friends instead." He was afraid of getting friend zoned right here. That's what Subaru was thinking while she was trailing off. Yeah, I just want to add that in. So far, nothing really different. Alright, so nothing really different in this amazing scene. A bit of dialogue here and there. Like, here, Emilia asks, "Subaru, could it be that you would regret kissing me?" "Oh, absolutely not. In fact, I'd love to do it again and again." "Oh, okay." Misunderstanding deepened further, still her blushing, blah, blah, blah. Percy puffed. In the back of his mind, he felt like he could see the kitty spirit putting a paw on his head and sticking his tongue out with a, you know that sound effect. I'm not going to do it for you. So, I guess we'll be moving on to the scene here. Roswaal gets what he deserves. Fantastic. Yeah, I'll cut to the part where I find something here, if anything. Alrighty, well, I read through this entire scene, nothing really different. That's really warrants me to put it in this video. As always, there's always, dialogue here and there, but nothing that really changed in that scene. So I guess we'll go on and finish this last beautiful segment. Let's continue on. So actually, right after Roswaal says sorry, there's actually just a couple pages here, or however many, of, well, the second line that actually, it mentions Biko, aka Beatrice. I don't see him talking to Beatrice, so I'm gonna assume did not show up in this episode. I'm gonna read it right now, and if I somehow missed it, I really don't think it's in here. I'll just edit it out of the video. So I'm not really sure how much time has passed since they talked to Roswaal, but here we go. That is quite a miserable looking face. So it's you, Biko. Subaru raised his eyebrows as a cute face poked over his shoulder, peering intently at him. He'd been sitting on the floor deep in thought. Subaru made a pained smile as he realized he hadn't noticed someone had approached him. He dusted his pants off as he rose to his feet. They were in the coffin room in the deepest portion of the tomb. So he goes back to the tomb afterwards. Okay. No one else was here, so he'd come to think things over. What are you doing in a place like this while staring so intently at the corpse of Betty's mother, I wonder? I was just thinking of the future like a normal person, but your phrasing is gonna land me in a heap of trouble. Not really. If Subaru has an unspeakable hobby, I shall not reveal it. I will think ugh, however. Seriously, if I ever think ugh as soon as I come to mind, then I'm never going to recover. Though they bantered much like before, their intimacy was incomparable to anything prior, even including that exchange. Mysteriously, ever since their pact, Beatrice was just too cute for Subaru to resist. It wasn't romantic love, but it was undoubtedly affection. He wanted his stomach filled with it full time. That was simply how he felt. Thinking about it calmly, he seemed to have quite a bit of that feeling even back when he first met her. Does her face reveal yet another worthless thought in your head, I wonder? It ain't worthless at all. I was thinking about you, Biko. You're so adorable, it puts me in a bind. Really now, certainly that would be a problem, but perhaps I prefer to continue doing so, I wonder. That was so cute that Subaru picked Beatrice up without a word of warning. I feel like that's going to happen a lot during the series later on. Beatrice is going to say something, Subaru's going to pick her up, twirl her around, and then he's just going to slip and fall or something. It's going to happen every time. This surprised Beatrice, but made her angry at him in turn. She smacked him, but it didn't hurt, so he let it slide. Then after their fill of messing around, Beatrice's demeanor became serious as she shifted her gaze towards the coffin. This is your mother, right? More importantly, this is Akidona, Subaru, not the Witch of Greed you are familiar with. Subaru echoed a question first hailed by Emilia, wondering about the two different Akidonas. At present, neither she nor Subaru had found a suitable answer to what they actually meant. Subaru too had been surprised the first time he'd encountered the witch's remains inside that room. For Beatrice's sake, he was simply grateful from the bottom of his heart that it truly was her Akidona sleeping there. He was glad Beatrice had been reunited with her mother, even if only Akidona's remains were left, even if there were other reunions that could never take place. It's really too bad that Ms. Shima and your friend from the crystal couldn't make it. Has it not been 4 centuries since we parted, I wonder? There's no helping it now. Beatrice's halting murmur felt like she was mostly putting on a brave front. Subaru turned his face towards the sky. Akidona's old laboratory site was within the forest of Cromaldi. When the sanctuary had been liberated, Ryuzu Mayor and the crystal sealing her, both of which formed the core of the sanctuary's barrier, had vanished altogether. He'd been told that the coffin where the witch slept, along with the magic crystal sealing the girl within, had been keys to the barrier. Shima had sacrificed herself to open these, granting them true liberation, as we knew. Albeit, perhaps she would be angry at having what she did referred to as a sacrifice. Truly, it would be just like her to say she'd done her duty, cutting a path open for the youngsters' futures. He had little doubt that deep down it was for the sake of her beloved Garfield, though. The day was surely approaching when they could match her proud way of life. At the very least, he wanted to swear he would live up to it all, bringing no shame to what she had bequeathed to them. Well, even if I made a lofty sounding vow like that, it wouldn't sound very convincing coming from me. Subaru, what are you smiling to yourself for, I wonder? It feels creepy. Nothing. Wait, creepy? Maybe not, I suppose. I did not mean you were extremely creepy, only a little. the, the naked insult and gillless poison thrust several times deeper than anything preceding it. When Subaru fell to his knees, Beatrice hastily and earnestly tried to cheer him up. Aww. It took a little while after that for Subaru to recover, at which the point he let out a long sigh. Whew, I was in danger of dying from shock. I understand a little of how Puck felt. You have grown quite conceited if you think you can understand Pucky's feelings, Subaru. But could you not forget that feeling of devotion, I wonder? If you do not, you will become a fine spirit mage in no time. So I know Subaru's gate is destroyed, right? So I don't think he can't use magic. But I guess with his contract with Beatrice, he can use her as maybe like a catalyst or something. I'm not really sure how it would work. Kind of like what they did in the beginning of this episode. As long as they're together, maybe Subaru can work at being a spirit mage. Yeah. Hearing the word spirit mage made me remember just now, but you were seriously awesome. I've never been able to let loose like magic like that before. Sure was one heck of a ride. Yet he hadn't had the time to calmly think back upon it, but Subaru's manly heart had danced during that battle against the Great Rabbit. He'd gone with the flow during the collapse of the archive of foreign books and formed a pact with Beatrice. Subaru's original objective was to bring Beatrice out of the archive, so forming a pact relationship as a spirit mage was nothing but a byproduct of that goal. Even so, it had been an incredible experience. Subaru's honest appraisal made Beatrice's cheeks stiffen. Her gaze wandered about. Subaru, about that. In other words, I may have something important to say about spirit mages, I would suppose. Ooh, something important. Okay, what would this be? Oh, why all the formality? This is a matter between Betty and Subaru, and that cannot be put off. Beatrice seemed rather subdued as she sat Subaru back down on the floor. He had a bad feeling about this, having barely finished hearing Emilia get seemingly formal about talking about her imaginary pregnancy. That said, now that she'd stated it concerned the pair's future, all he could do was quietly listen. First, Subaru formed a pact with Betty as a spirit mage. By the way, that for the first time I watched this episode, that completely crossed my mind. I did not know they formed a pact. But Betty is somewhat different compared to a regular spirit. Yeah, she's a gray spirit. I suppose. Therefore, there are certain things that differ from what would be common sense for other practitioners. Well, you don't usually see humanoid spirits, and I know you're especially cute. At present, Subaru knew exactly two spirit mages, Emilia and Julius. Emilia had a pact with Puck, who had also formed pacts with lesser spirits beside him. In contrast, Julius had pacts with multiple Quasi spirits more powerful than lesser spirits, which meant he was a powerful practitioner himself. Technically, the evil spirit, I was about to say, he wasn't Petogis, something similar? Technically, the evil spirit Petogis had been something similar, but that was a case best left forgotten. Betty is an artificial spirit created by Mother. Did we know that? I don't recall. She was created by Ekidona. Was that ever said? Did you know this, I wonder? Mother infused Betty with special power, but in turn she has certain flaws. Flaws? What sort? Betty's flaws. First is that she monopolizes a contractor, I suppose. Betty was red-faced as she explained her own shortcomings. Subaru guided or girded for whatever issue might come flying out, let out a silly sounding huh at the detail thereof. Yeah, what does that mean? Monopolize? You mean you're a greedy girl? Don't worry, relax. You're the only spirit for me. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. And it may be so, but that is not the point. The short version is that a spirit mage contracted with Betty is unable to contract with other spirits and lesser spirits, I suppose. There are no exceptions whatsoever. Oh, okay. So unless their contract ends, Subaru is stuck with Beatrice. I mean, I feel like it's not that bad, though. I mean, Beatrice has an affinity for dark magic, right? Same as Subaru, so I think that they're like just very compatible and clearly strong. That's what you meant. In other words, I'm all out of contracts. The gist was that the cost of maintaining Beatrice as a spirit was high, chewing up a spirit mage's entire capacity. No free roam remained and then employ other spirits because of that. So there's no use using lesser spirits depending on circumstances or anything like that. Well, that's slightly disappointing, but I'll just take it in stride. No way I'm letting you go so I can pick up other spirits. That's really cool. Who knew that Subaru and Beatrice would formally have a contract with you? Subaru is like actually a spirit mage now. It's dope. Well, that's only natural, I suppose. Of course, you won't even call that ordinary sound judgment. I wonder. Beatrice was unable to hide how happy Subaru's reply made her. Subaru gave her head another few circular strokes. Beatrice was letting Subaru do so when she cleared her throat with an audible Actually, there's still more, but compared with the matter just now, it is no great issue whatsoever, I wonder. So the hurdles got a lot lower. Okay, hit me. Tell me anything. Oh wait, there's still more. Okay. This is mildly embarrassing, but however, Betty is rather fuel inefficient. Now you're talking like you're some kind of car. In a video game, powerful magic and summoning spells consumed a lot of MP. Efficiency was calculated by comparing their usage cost to power. But he had no idea how hard it was for Beatrice to say something that was probably incredibly difficult to admit. You say that, but you hurled the huge spells into a great rabbit one after another, right? You even let me use your mana, because it's not like you were sucking it out of me. Was that mana not what Betty stored away for a long period of time, I wonder? Granting Subaru's thousands and thousands of times would not be sufficient to suddenly use that much mana in our first battle. That figures. Incidentally, by stored over a long period of time, you mean... Don't tell me it's like 400 years. Well, I suppose I was helping myself to mana from everyone at the mansion a little at a time. Beatrice with red face as she divulged the information, perhaps embarrassing from a spirit's point of view. Subaru didn't have a clear idea of how unladylike using some kind of mana chain was. Biko, it seems like you've done some deep reflection about it, so I won't poke fun at you. Well, as your contractor, I'll just have to put up whatever you're going to take from me. How much is stored in this vault anyway? It hardly needed to be said that Subaru's mana capacity was lower than that of the average person. If he was to work around Beatrice's poor field efficiency, he needed to break down how to make good use of what had been stored to date. Naturally, he had to get an idea of just how much magic energy was left, but nothing. Huh? Did I say nothing, I wonder? What was stored across 4 centuries flew out the door during our first battle, though I still held on to a majority of it despite the loss of the archive. The Al-Shamak that served as the finishing blow might have depleted it completely. Beatrice's exclamation left Subaru silent. He sank into thought. After pondering what the matter, he arrived at an answer. In other words, it was something like this. Beatrice's stored mana was 0. It would take all of Subaru's mana just to keep her corporal on a day-to-day basis. Beatrice could not employ fuel-efficient, high-powered spells, and his pact with her left him unable to rely upon other spirits. Okay, so never mind. It's useless. Doesn't matter. You're telling me a dude between a spirit and who can't use magic and a spirit mage who can't use magic. It's just oh my god. I love Subaru. I love it. Well, I suppose you could put it in those terms. How else would you put it, huh? No way, you're serious? In conclusion, Subaru had been a spirit mage, winning the hand of a little girl, and that was pretty much it. Should I say, I wonder. I'm not laughing, and that was how incredibly ill-prepared team of Spirit Mage and Spirit was born. Thereafter, the pair's quarreling voices continued echoing within the tube for a long time to come. Wow, and I was hyped. I'm like, yes, Subaru's a Spirit Mage. He's got Beatrice at his disposal. He couldn't use magic, but he could use her magic as like a catalyst. Use her as a catalyst, and he can become, he's got some power now, But no. Why would that work? This is ReZero at all, after all. But man, that was great. Really funny scene here and there, and very important too. Very great information we got out of this. How their pact is gonna work from here on out, and again, just continue to flesh out their relationship there. It's definitely too bad that they couldn't add this into this episode, but it is what it is, That's why I do these, so people who don't have time to read the novel can watch this part of the video and be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Glad I learned that, So, turning the page here, let's see where this... Okay, so... Ending chapter here. Offbeat steps under the moonlight. I believe that's what this episode is called. And I'm pretty sure this just goes right into this last section here. Man, it's really looking badass. I love that little outfit. There's honestly not that many pages here. Hell, maybe the anime goes past where the book ends. We'll see. Catch you guys in a bit. Actually, I don't even see this conversation here in the book. In the book, it kind of just goes straight to this part where Subaru officially becomes a knight. I'm still gonna try to find out if I can find this conversation though. Oh, I did find it. Actually, it's like 5 or so pages ahead of where I was. Okay, so there's some interesting dialogue here that didn't make it in. It's kind of hard because I gotta like go through back and forth because the scenes are kind of switched around in the book compared to this episode. So we'll just start from here. Where was it? I'll continue to keep my eye on. So I won't put this page up because it's only a few lines, but I'll put the next one up. So he'd keep watching. The ominous phrase left Subaru at a loss for words. Roswaal turned it and faced Subaru with his differently colored eyes, and with the same fire burning in both, continued. Fortunately, your goal of placing Lady Emilia on the royal throne aligns your own objective in mine. And so we shall continue our relationship as co-conspirators just as before. It is merely that, just as before, I pity you for remaining unchanged. What the hell? Subaru raised his eyebrows, unable to easily dismiss the word pity. His reaction made Roswaal pull back his shoulders. He deciphered the emotions resting in Roswaal's eyes, sympathy and compassion. You should have known loss. You should have felt loss so great that you would become a sage who would doggedly protect only that most precious to him. In my own way, I wanted to save you. What the hell's wise about that? What does simply accepting loss get you? You, who have rejected loss and had decided to carry everything in your arms, will continue to suffer. You will experience wounds that can never be undone. experience loss over and over, and you will rise up for the sake of regaining what you have lost, continuing to add to your invisible injuries. That is simply too cruel. Roswaal's words carried too much weight to dismiss without a second thought, because the man knew, even if he didn't know it was through return by death, Roswaal knew Subaru repeated events. Accordingly, he was the only one who could realistically imagine just what a road of thorns Subaru walked. And now that you have rejected the path of the sage and chosen the path of the fool, I will never allow you to compromise. Is this not natural? It is you who wish for this. With Subaru unable to speak a word, Roswaal took a step forward, closing the distance between them. Then, reaching out with a hand, he grasped Subaru's shoulder, gently pulled his face close, and whispered into Subaru's ear. Hereafter, if you lose someone around you who you should have protected, I will swiftly burn the remaining others away without hesitation, and with the cursed scroll become ash myself. If you lose someone around you who you should have protected, I will swiftly burn the remaining others away without hesitation, and with the cursed seal become ash myself? What? Why? So is Roswaal still kind of controlling him? You have decided to shoulder all. You must not abandon anything. I will not allow a lost world to continue into the future. I reject your compromise. Now that I have lost the book of knowledge, I have only you to guide me, to teach your young Subaru, you in the path you walk. Pulling his face away, Roswaal gave Subaru's chest a light shove. Even though it had little strength behind it, Subaru wobbled as he had been thrust away, grabbing one of the railings to support his body. This was Roswaal L. Mathers, the man who lived for a wish that he was 400 years old. He would never seek to inflict undesired suffering upon Subaru and Emilia again. If Subaru wished it, he would no doubt cooperate to work towards Subaru's objectives, even lending Emilia a hand with his full strength. But if Subaru miscalculated even slightly, Roswaal would flip the table over, rendering everything futile. So if Subaru messes up a little, Roswaal's gonna be like, no, this world's done for. I'm killing everyone. I'm ruining this for you. Restart now. Wow. Okay. This was no lie or deception. Roswaal absolutely would do it for the sake of his greatest desire. There's no need to be so frightened. So long as you remain true to yourself and continue your duty, I shall cooperate with you fully. This is simply the new patch between you and I. I've learned that for pacts, you have to check not just for the fine print, but the guy you're signing it with, too. Subaru's sarcasm and anguished sigh made Roswaal widen his eyes. Immediately after he put his hand to his mouth as he began to laugh, he laughed for a while without saying yes, and lifting his face. I only just said I would cooperate in full, so there's something which I must properly inform you. You're still holding on to secrets to shake me up, in the royal capital this time. And it makes it twice that I've hired the bow hunter. Oh, in the royal capital, and this time? That makes it twice that I have hired the bow hunter. But the girl in bonds underground, this Beastmaster, I had nothing to do with either of her attacks. Yeah, so we knew Roswaal hired Elsa in the beginning, right? Or at least it was, you can make an educated guess. At the beginning of the show, Elsa shows up, but he had nothing to do with Melee. Melee, I guess, just tagged along under her own volition. Subaru, on guard for what more might come, could only drop his mouth wide open. The girl held in bonds underground meant Melee, captured at the mansion and kept prisoner since. So Melee's a prisoner at the mansion. At present, the death of her partner in crime, Elsa, had left her too uncooperative to deal with in any other fashion. That had hurt his head, though, enough. But Roswaal's next words were a thunderclap out of the clear blue sky. This time, my contract only targeted Beatrice. In accordance with the Book of Knowledge, I was to liberate that girl from her twisted fate. But if I heard correctly, those girls had plans that went beyond my request, did they not? Yeah, Elsa and Maylee were part of the same group. I figure, so Maylee was helping her out with the contract, because if that wasn't the case, who could have tipped them off about the mansion's interior like that? In other words, there was another culprit who planned this attack on the mansion besides. I'm just trying to think. I mean, what the hell? This did not happen in the episode, right? There's no way. So there's someone else that aided in the mansion attack. You fucking kidding me? Why wouldn't they add that in? That's freaking important. Okay, let's continue. Your troubles shall continue. Truly, that is where you shine. You really are cut out for struggling, are you not? Letting those words of sarcasm dangle, Roswaal inverted his now empty glass over his mouth. A single droplet of alcohol fell and struck his lips. With that, he departed from the terrace, advancing in the direction of the great hall. Congratulations, young Subaru. Take this praise from a witch's apprentice. You have won. Today, at least. Leaving those final words behind, Roswaal left the terrace. A cold wind blew the chill from the wind, and the sweat sent a small tremble through Subaru's body. The traces of the fire continued to smolder. Subaru felt the heat of those lingering flames as he let out a very deep breath. Wow, I did not expect that. I mean, I saw a little extra dialogue that looked interesting at the very beginning. I'm like, oh, I'll add this in. I'll start reading here. I didn't expect that. No, bro. Oh my god, this light on comparison to the last one we did. Really, we're getting a lot like interesting stuff. So, what we got out of that conversation? Roswaal. If Subaru miscalculates a little, if he messes up a little, he's gonna fucking flip the table over, ruin everything. Maylee. We learned that Maylee is a prisoner at the mansion. I don't know how that's a thing. Isn't the mansion destroyed? I mean, but she's a prisoner there, apparently. And then we learn that there's someone else that tipped Maylee and Elsa off about the structure, the interior of the mansion. So someone else was working. Wow, what the hell? Yeah, okay, I'm done. Okay, I did not expect that. I'm gonna turn this page. So this is where Subaru. Okay, Emilia shows up. So this conversation with Roswaal in the anime was supposed to be outside, and they're supposed to talk about all of that. And then Emilia is supposed to come in after Roswaal leaves. Because in the book, the first thing that happens is Subaru gets knighted, and then he talks to Roswaal, and then he talks to Emilia. Okay, so I guess now I'm just gonna skip over here. So this scene should be right after he talked to Roswaal, in the book at least. Alright, I'm gonna read on, guys. What's the part for finding one? Got a few minutes left, so let's see. And yeah, the book just kind of ends here. They start dancing. This must have been really a great scene for people who have already read this part. To actually see this happen. Super beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna tear up again. Well, guys, first of all, looks like we got before I start buying a bunch, got this part. So where was I? Yeah, right here. Oh my god, it's so weird. It's inverted. It's hard to do this. Okay. Right here, this whole page they dance and it ends there. That's where it ends. But then you got this part which I am about to read. We got what two. There's still more, guys. There's still more. Okay. So what are we gonna read here? What are we gonna read here? We don't need that there anymore, because this is not a comparison anymore. We're reading past the anime. This a couple pages. It's just a couple pages, but let's see what we got. So this is called The Return. In a dark, cold, and indistinct space, the soft patter of bare feet continued to echo at regular intervals. In that lightless world, that space was nothing but unfathomable darkness spreading forth. The source of those footsteps had arrived without ever going astray. The trip had been made with the ease of someone walking into their own bedroom. The sound of dripping water, the cries of insects crawling about, the sensation of mud and gravel beneath the soles of her bare feet, she pushed past them all. What was this talking about? Finally, she arrived at the darkest reaches of that darkness. Now, the deepest reaches of that darkness. She stretched out a hand and stroked a mossy, slippery wall. Instantly, faint lights floated up and danced around her as lukewarm wind blew through the walls. Is this Emilia? Because I'm feeling like the faint lights are like lesser spirits or something. Her long pink... Oh, no, it's not Emilia. It's not Emilia. Her long pink hair. Oh, is it Ryuzu? Her long pink hair and the white cloak flapped in that wind. The hovering pinpricks of light circled around her as she slowly passed through the barrier. So the reactivation ritual has remained intact? The girl murmured offhandedly as she slipped outside. The next instant, a dazzling shaft of light made her close her eyes. After walking through the darkness underground, the sun rays outside were like daggers to her eyes. She blinked several times before she could see the world anew. In the sky, taller than the trees of the forest, she saw the sun had only just begun to rise. Surprisingly, I am unmoved. With the sunlight striking her eyes, the girl seemed disappointed as she tilted her head. The only person I think of is Ryuzi, but that can't be, right? She sacrificed herself. She's gone. Just as she had said, there was no surge of emotion visible within her impassive eyes. She'd expected something from seeing the real sun after gazing upon a false one for so long. But it didn't affect her as much as she thought it would. All that said, she was free to applaud the trick she had played, the performance she had delivered. She felt a sense of accomplishment. She recovered the magic crystal she'd had her eye on from the very beginning, and for the moment she had nothing to be concerned of while wandering about. My only regret is that since I was forced to borrow that thing's help, I was unable to see her crushed by the trial. But she did lift the barrier. I suppose I shall chalk it up to breaking it. Who is this? Who is this? What? I'm so confused. My only regret is that since I was forced to borrow that thing's help. Okay, this person is referring to Emilia as a thing. I was unable to see her crushed by the trial. She did lift a barrier. Had it not been for that, the vessel would never have been able to venture out from the sanctuary. She had been in a veritable deadlock, drowning in the cleverness of her own scheme. Atypically, thinking of the girl who'd freed her from that situation made her chest overflow with emotions that were difficult to put into words. Well, I don't really mind. I really can't overwork this body. Wait. This is Ekidona, isn't it? Is this Ekidona? Because Ekidona hated Emilia, and just a minute ago she was saying, yeah, she was unable to see her crushed by the trial. This has got to be Ekidona. What? This has got to be Akidona. Thinking of the girl who had freed her from that situation made her chest overflow with emotions that were difficult to put into words. Well, I don't mind. I really can't overwork this body. And I had anticipated having to walk around for a while to fill in the blanks. There's no need to obsess over such things for now. So Ekidona is in Ryuzu's body. Oh, okay. The girl opened and closed her hands to check on the condition of her body. This was the result of repeatedly exerting herself on the replica, who had been a soul identical in nature to the girl whose body had become the core of the barrier. She had granted a piece of her soul inside the replica, who had once entered the tomb, taking over bit by bit. Revival by attaching a soul to the body of another. Strictly speaking, this differed from reviving the dead, but it was unquestionably similar, rough around the edges as it might be. It would take time to become fully accustomed to the body, but there was no way around that. Surely it was a time to be grateful that she could walk around with her old soul in her new body at all. As for her name, oh my god. As for her name, it's been so long. Perhaps, in accordance with his knowledge, I should call myself Omega. The word bore the meaning of the end. Given her current situation, there was no name more fitting. The girl relaxed her lips as she stepped onto grass, slipping through gaps between the trees and emerging from the forest. An ever so slight discomfort could be detected in her gait, but it was nothing truly significant. Fatigue and pain merely meant body and soul were well and truly connected. She could not help but enjoy the feeling of being alive after so long. Beatrice has parted ways with the archive of forbidden books. This is Ekidona. Roswaal has lost his guiding light. But that young man pulled something from the embers. And Garfield, with all that anger stored up inside, is a pile of smoldering coals indeed. From the shadows, I suppose I shall watch over their valiant exploits as they face him under the light of day. And guys, I'm sorry about the background noise. I'm recording this during the day, so if you hear dogs or birds, I apologize. A world was waiting for her, a world where nothing was faded and muted. A mountain filled with treasure to satisfy her inexhaustible greed for knowledge. And as I go, perhaps a day will come when I finally understand. The girl smiled as she gazed at a single flower along the road. Plucking one of its petals with her fingers, she breathed in its scent and subsequently tossed it into her mouth. The flower, so proudly displaying its beauty to the world, would someday wither. Why did flowers wither? Why did beautiful memories shared by people grow faint one day? Why does love fade so? The girl walked forward, her long pink hair swaying as she murmured to herself. The witch had been released unto the world once more. Oh my god. I was really hoping for a few extra pages that weren't included in the anime, and it delivered. Well, I'll be damned, guys. How was that? How was that for an ending for the book? Ekidona is back into the world. Her immortality scheme, or whatever you want to call it, paid off, apparently. And the others don't even know. She will be disguised as one of the clones, I assume, Ryuzu. So Subaru, Roswaal, they don't know what's coming. I don't know if Ekidona will mean any harm to them. I don't really know what she's in, but she's back and she's alive this time. So I'll be damned. Now, there is one more thing I wanted to read, and that is the afterword section of the book. I think I did this in the last light novel as well. You might not read it all, but let's see what the author has to say, shall we? Hey there, it's Tappy Nagasuki, a notorious mouse-colored cat. Sorry for the possibly smaller font size. As you probably know already, this has been going on since the way back in Volume 12. However, I think this volume will see the end of it. Probably, maybe. Anyway, thank you very much for purchasing Volume 15, having arrived at the afterword. You are almost certainly already aware of this, but Volume 15 concludes the 4th arc of ReZero. 4th arc is done, guys. The book ended up a little longer than originally planned, but as a crucial chapter in how the main character's party becomes a group united with a single heart and soul. I have no complaints so long as you've had fun with it up until this point. The next volume begins the next leg of the story. Plunging us directly into Arc 5, there'll be appearances by characters who haven't been in the limelight for a while, so by all means, I hope you enjoy the next arc too. Well, I can't wait, because I definitely want to see some old characters that we didn't get to see at all this season. And this time, some people might have already read this in the afterword, but for everyone else, the 3rd short story compilation of ReZero is going on sale this month. Okay. And he goes on to just say that, thank you to the illustrators, the editor. Finally, my greatest thanks goes to all you readers who've been cheering me on this whole time. In a certain sense, part 1 of the story is complete. That said, thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end of Arc 4. ReZero will be continuing for quite some time to come, so I hope you enjoy it. Well then, let's meet again for a fresh start in Volume 16, the Raw Selection Candidates assemble once more. I love this guy. I love the little afterward sections. It's so nice. It's very nice. And, that's it, guys. That's it. At the end of the books, they usually have this character stuff. And I guess I'll show you guys the art illustrations in the beginning here, which is pretty cool. Here's this one. See that? The Unknowable Present. And go next. It's Garfield and Elsa. I really like this one. It's really cool. And then the battle with the rabbits here. Oh, let me try to get my hand out of the way here. So let's see a little bit. And that's it. That's it. That's it, guys. I'm sad. Genuinely, sincerely, I am sad. It's done. It's actually done now. The show, anyways. It's bittersweet. I will definitely be purchasing Volume 16. If you guys would like me to record myself reading that, giving my thoughts, if you see this part of the video, please let me know. I'll probably be doing it anyways, but having a couple of people be like, yeah, that'd be cool. Kind of be good motivation to do that. I already went in on my thoughts on Season 2. I believe right after that, the reaction ended with the guys, I talked a bit more about my thoughts on that. So if you're interested in that, be sure to backtrack this video a bit. But guys, this series has been absolutely amazing, and it's become such a part of my life. I just love this series so much, and it's not many words I can say other than thank you to the author, Tappy Nagasuki, for writing an amazing series, and thank you to the other people, the illustrator, the editor, those people as well, who make it possible to put it in light novel form. And thank you guys one last final time. Thank you for sticking with me on this reaction journey. I was definitely unsure about how this was going to turn out, but I'm glad I was able to make this a cool experience for some of you guys. I'm glad people, enjoyed it for what it was. for what it is. You know, early on this video, I went on about why I started reactions and that stuff. So again, if you see that, you know, backtrack during the video. I can't remember if I talked about future plans, but as I said, I'll probably be recording volume 16. Record myself reading that. I might do a playthrough of ReZero Prophecy of the Throne. I have the collector's edition right over there. I haven't played it yet. I might do that. I'm thinking about doing an anime music video for ReZero. That's an option. But I definitely have a lot to learn in terms of editing, so it might not be for a while because I'm not gonna put out some garbage fucking edits. You know, I want it to be good. But yeah, guys, that's about it. I guess this will be the final time I'll be saying this for reactions. Oh, and I might do before getting into that, I might do a reaction for I think it's called Vivi's Fluorite. I think it was a anime that the director of ReZero worked on as well for that series. Something interesting. Check that out. I might do a reaction to that. But again, as I was saying, I guess this will be the last time I will be doing this, saying this. But for a while at least, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Hope you enjoyed the light novel comparison. I hope you enjoyed my videos as a whole throughout the year now, I guess. But until next time, have a good day or night, wherever you are, and I will see you whenever I see you guys. Goodbye.